everybody, and welcome back to Lilith's Attic. My name is Julia Pasqua, and it's another Tarot Card Tuesday. This week, continuing on in the sword suit, we have the Five of Swords. Now, I know I talk sometimes about how I'm reading about a tarot card and learning about a tarot card, and there's so many different meanings that I don't even know which way to go. This was one of those cards. So the best way I found it summed up is if you pull this card, it means conflict and arguments. So there's a lot happening here in the Five of Swords cards visually. It's supposed to depict the aftermath of battle. The guy in the front has won the war. He's very cocky about it. He's holding two swords like, haha, I have two weapons, you guys have none. His other one is stabbing into the earth, showing that he is very grounded. And then there's two very defeated people in the background. One is crying and visibly upset, and the other one seems like he needs to go console him. There's two swords on the ground, two people sad. We're assuming here that these two people have lost and that this man has won. It's supposed to show that problems are a part of life and it's all how you handle it, basically. If you read this card in reverse, it can be more reinforcement of that what happens after the war, kind of that there's been conflict, now what? Or it can mean you have released whatever you've been fighting and you're letting it go. So like these two people have lost, but they're letting it go. In the background, who is that? These two guys right here. Basically, if you pull this card, it's a time to evolve and change. I normally tell you the meaning before I tell you the reverse, but you kind of need to know the reverse before you know the meaning of the card, because it's one of those that both the upright and the reverse therefore contribute to what the card means. You can either have conflict with it or release it. Okay, you guys, let's go make the Five of Swords. Come on. For my Five of Swords, I myself was very conflicted. Like, how am I going to show all of this while still having swords involved? And I always try to link it to something that I can relate to. And I was like, when is a time that feels like there's conflict, there's grudges being resolved, there might be fighting, there might be resolution, all happening at the same time. And I was like, oh, when you get together with your family and have dinner. I feel like there is always so much sometimes drama. Even if your family gets along, there can be conflict, there can be resolve, there can be all these things happening in one centralized location. So again, smushing, as I like to do, that reverse meaning of the card and the upright meaning of the card into one design. We're going to have a family of 5 folks at dinner. So with these 5 folks, we have 2 on one side of the table, 2 on the other side of the table, and 1 at the end of the table or the head of the table. 2 of these guys are going to be fighting. They're going to be battling. They're going to be having conflict, literally. Now we can only assume that these are some sort of knights. I don't know if you all bring your swords to family dinner, but hey, who knows? I don't judge. So 2 of them are going to be drawing their swords. One sword is longer than the other sword, which is just kind of my nod to make a joke. And they are battling about potentially their sword size, who knows? And they're at one side of the table. One guy is so much not even paying attention. He has his elbow in his plate, and their plates don't even have anything on it. They are just all about this conflict. They are immersed in this conflict where they can't even see anything else happening. They're kind of that war part of the card. And on the other side of the table, we have 2 people with their swords just tucked away, sitting, talking. You might think of these as the 2 cool cousins who really get along, or the people who just vibe in your family. There's always one that you're like, if I'm sitting next to them, I'm good for all of dinner. This is like you sat next to the right person, you're chill. Maybe they've had some conflict in the past, which is why they still have their swords, but they've resolved it, so it's put away, and they're just sitting, and one has a spoon and he's going to get some food, and they're just hanging out. You know, there's no conflict. They're very chill in their body language. They have no sort of issues with each other. There's a lot of resolve being shown with these 2. And the guy at the end is kind of a neutral zone where he is hanging his head low. Maybe he's the dad, maybe these are his kids, and he's just like, oh my god, this again. He has a little tiny sword and he's just stabbing at his food. He doesn't care about what's going on around him. He is just dealing with his own stuff within himself, because I feel like when you have this in-between choice of either you choose to lean more into the conflict or choose to resolve it, or sometimes the resolve is through conflict, you have to also have that time with yourself to ground and center yourself, and sometimes not involve yourself in the situation and just figure out how you want to approach it. Have these 2 sides of the table of conflict and resolution, and the one in between who represents more of the balance and trying to find which path you should choose at this time. And that is my Five of Swords. My message from me to you this week is to take some time to ground your center. Sometimes it helps me in life to do an analogy. Imagine that family dinner. If you are understanding that you have some sort of big conflict in your life, just say, okay, how would I handle this? Picture all your family members, who's someone to sit next to, how have you handled conflict, how do you handle someone you have conflict with, and really picture that analogy to try to work through and resolve or get through the conflict that you're at. We have 9 cards left. Can you believe it? Whew. We have been through so many cards together, and I can't thank you all who are still here from the beginning of this journey. I don't even know how I'm still here from this journey, and let alone anyone else. So thank you each and every one of you who is here each and every week. We are getting our deck done. So excited. 9 more cards. We can do it. We've made it this far. Thank you each and every one of you who is here each and every week, and I will see you all next Tuesday. Mwah! Bye, guys. Oh, I got some new makeup. I was gonna dress up all pretty, and then I punctured my eyelid with a pirate flag. I can't, there's no other way for me to say that. That's exactly what happened. It's healing up right now. It looks so much better, but I can't put makeup on it because it's still an open wound. I don't know what my life is sometimes, you guys. I'm sorry.